Welcome to the Pintcast. Joining me today are, starting with the artist formerly known as I Hate Your Club, now sometimes referred to as Joseph, and Mark Cunningham. You can follow him on Twitter at Mark, MARCJC88. Oh no, the effects are already starting. What did he say about this, guys? Come on. Get it.
It was once. It was once. You can't scold me after once.
That's the. I guess it's the only time a Manchester United fan is ever going to get a fucking round of applause.
Right. And upon leaving, those are the two times.
So 2 times. Hey, it's more times than you guys will ever get. So,
True enough.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
And so it begins. So, gentlemen, we have seen another wild and wacky week in the Premier League with several more twists and turns. Some rather hilariously for some of us. I don't know where to start, but I think where we need to start is with
last weekend, or are we going to go? How far back we're going?
No, we're just going to go this past week. So we can go Liverpool fucking, basically. I'm just going to start with you, Joseph. Tell me how you feel about Liverpool's, I don't know, would you call it a monumental collapse, or what would you call it?
It's one way of putting it.
I suppose so. Well, Mark, why don't you enlighten me, because I can't hear a single thing Joseph is saying.
Yeah, did he get muted or something? Well, let me just start this off by saying, first and foremost, Manchester United this season, we've granted you this ability to have this crazy season, because clearly when we're at the top there, we maintain the order of the Premier League, you know, just by being the best. And,
the fuck are you babbling about? Are you talking about Liverpool, or are you talking about Arsenal?
You know, in 7th place, we allowed the craziness to ensue, and clearly a lot of clubs out there are struggling to deal with it. I guess they're just more used to us being at the top, but I mean, the monumental collapse of Liverpool, I guess, would go down to the fact that they're just still not used to the whole idea of a Premier League. I mean, they're living in the past, going through some things. I wish I could say it's transitional. I wish I could say it's inexperience. There's a million things that they've blamed on this failure to win the Premier League when it was in their hands. But I guess what the reality is they just couldn't hack it. The pressure came down to them, and they slipped. They slipped up.
Yeah, they definitely didn't cover themselves in glory, especially with the slip, like you said. I thought it was very funny, the fact that they, you know, we all said this entire season, I think most people really questioned their credentials because no one thought their defense was good enough, you know, and they got to this point where they were so close to crossing the line, and it was kind of a miracle. You're kind of like, wow, well, how are they going to do this with this defense? And then in the end, conceding 3 goals, and how quick was it? I mean, in a 10, 20 minutes?
It was in 15 minutes.
In 15 minutes, you know, like coughing up a 3-0 lead. I mean, it was quite symptomatic of everything we thought their faults were. They could score, but could they defend? And it actually came to bite them in the ass. So that was interesting, to say the least, if not quite a bit entertaining.
It was, yeah. I mean, that was one of those like legendary matches. I think that will definitely go down in history as both an epic collapse and a pretty amazing comeback. But you could tell throughout the last couple months they'd really been towing that line. I feel, you know, a lot of last-minute victories, a lot of 3-2, a lot of 2-1, and I felt that they had found enough confidence to really push through in the last few games, but clearly it was just like one of those downward spirals that they were going on, you know, giving up big leads, and it was only a matter of time, I guess, before they eventually suffered from it, because they had been pulling themselves out of those shitty situations with Luis Suarez. I mean, for God's sake, the top scorer in the history of the Premier League, single season scorer in the history of Premier League, and they can't win the league. What does that say?
Well, what do you mean? What does that say? I mean, their squad is not the deepest squad in the league, right?
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, isn't it? I mean, they have Coutinho sitting on the bench. They don't even need the guy to take a 3-0 lead. And
They don't have the depth. I mean, it's pretty clear in terms. I mean, they're not playing in Europe, which makes a big difference. Joseph, you there?
I don't think he is anymore.
I think he's there, but I guess we just can't. We just can't hear
Melted
him.
down or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess not. A little technical difficulty there for
Yeah.
Jay. Anyways, he's gonna log out and come back in. Hopefully that'll resolve the audio issue there. But yeah, it's been quite a a monumental fuck up though to be this close and to concede these things the way that they have. I think it's really interesting though, because if you could ask anyone, like the proposition of Liverpool winning the league in the past couple weeks has been a tough and bitter pill for anyone to swallow. It was a tough thing for anyone to come to terms with. All of a sudden, the majority of the United fans that I know are all of a sudden they want City to win the league. They were all rooting for Chelsea before.
Hey,
Yeah, we can hear you, Joseph, now. Perfect.
Yeah, great.
Great. What I was saying was that like when everyone was getting really nervy and not too happy about the proposition of Liverpool winning the league, you started seeing everyone flip sides and allegiances. All of a sudden, City fans want, or United fans all of a sudden want City to win the league of all things.
Yeah, but
They just can't
it's
stand
because nobody likes their fans.
right, yeah, that's.
I mean, and it's been so long since they've been in contention that a lot of people forget what they were like. Before
Absolutely how miserable.
or right after they won the Champions League in 2005. It was miserable.
Yeah.
To hear it from them, and I think that I don't want to create this umbrella term, but a lot of Liverpool fans, they get very emotional to the point where it's like they don't want to admit sort of what their team may or may not be going through in many ways, and I admit a lot of football fans are guilty of that, but it just seems to be a trend with a lot of Liverpool fans that I know. They get so emotionally involved that they say things like, we have the best strike squad in Europe, and while the goal numbers may indicate that, the fact of the matter is they did not have any European play this season.
Well, where was Suarez Monday?
He got a goal.
Yeah, he got a goal.
Did he get a goal?
Yeah, I got the second.
Oh, well, he
That
didn't
was the
seem
goal that
he
tied
didn't seem to as involved as he normally
he
was.
seemed-
I don't
he
know if
seemed
they
pretty
couldn't get the
involved.
ball to him, or if they were just trying to long ball it over the top, or what.
The biggest involvement I saw from him was him bawling at the end of the match.
Well,
So
I
that was
hilarious, and then I felt a little bit bad, and then it was hilarious again. So
Like, and the thing is, I don't hold any. I mean, I saw a lot of people just saying like, yes, like fuck Suarez. I mean, like, I don't have any resentment towards Suarez. I don't think he's a great person by any ways. But everyone was, we're talking about it as a moral victory. People like, and look, you can't really argue with the fact that in the past couple of weeks we've seen John Terry, Ashley Cole, and Luis Suarez all crying on the pitch. It's pretty good.
there was more than that, right?
that's
There was
actually
more
nice.
I think there's more than that, but in particular, those particular cunts are that's a good selection. It feels like there's a little more order in the universe when bad things happen to some of these people.
Yeah.
But back to the point. So this was scary as shit for all of us. The fact that Liverpool seemed to be on the precipice, and look, they still, like, if they fucking do it now, if City somehow choke, which I really don't think that it's gonna happen. If you let Andy Carroll ruin your season, losing the fucking West Ham, all you need is a fucking point at home against West Ham.
Right.
They're gonna get it.
I think they will get it.
But so with all that said, it's like we were all deathly afraid of Liverpool winning the title, and then these guys who, and look, I know some sensible Liverpool fans. I know, shocking that I know some that are.
I don't believe it.
But all of them had tempered expectations, and like the whole season, like even watching ESPN FC, right? All season, Stevie Nicol, who, former Arsenal but former Liverpool man through and through, was saying that no, even when Liverpool got up there, we're at the top at Christmas, we're saying no, they'll be happy to make Champions League, because that was a good goal, and then they've been so disappointed over and over again lately that they have been wary about getting excited about
the fact that they're gonna fail.
And so now, like, even the most skeptical of them, because imagine if any of us, if it was our team in that situation just like a week or 2 weeks ago before they fucked up, would think they were going to see it across the line. And they finally were like, yes, we can be miserable cunts and start talking shit to everybody.
Hmm.
Like, we're finally there. Like, does it make this collapse all that much better?
It makes it a lot
Because they finally fucking
Yeah.
believe that they had it. They finally believe they had it.
Yeah.
And then now they lost it.
It definitely, it's like a fine wine, guys. You know, it definitely leaves that sweet taste in your mouth at the end of it, and you feel a little drunk. You know, you feel a little mighty afterwards, and like it. I gotta say, like you said, like I mean, I think a lot of Twitter had been going out, especially because I have a lot of Manchester United fans on there, and people had been posting recently about like who would you rather see? Who's our bigger rival? Is it Liverpool or is it Man City? And you know, Man City are like the little kid brother. Like you never really worry about them. Yeah, they win a title or two, and we still have 13 against them. The fact of the matter is, the whole philosophy that Ferguson came in with was that he wanted to knock the famous quote. He wanted to knock Liverpool off their fucking perch, and he
Yeah.
did that.
He
And
did.
it is embedded in our bloodstream to maintain that. We don't want Liverpool to win. Liverpool must lose. Since the Premier League era has been initiated, they have been a fucking failure of a team, and we want to keep it that way. I don't care about Man City. I don't care about Chelsea. Whatever. Liverpool has to fail. And I think a lot of people share that sentiment with me, whether you're a Manchester United fan or not. Because for the longest time, they were dominating. And
Yeah.
they let us know that. And
Well,
now,
it's one of those things. It's similar because you guys find yourselves in similar positions. Because
Right.
the thing is, part of something that kind of comes hand in hand with being a very successful club is that you're going to get haters.
of course.
Manchester United are the most successful team over the past 25 years by far.
Mm.
And then you have Liverpool for fucking forever before that.
Yeah.
And so those eras means that they get developed so many fans, but then also that when they fail, because they've endured so much success, no one feels sorry for them.
No.
And I think that's something that you could maybe speak to a little bit because that's something you guys have had to go through a little bit this season.
Right.
A very humbling Manchester United season. So let's turn it around because I know as much as you're enjoying crowing about Liverpool's failure in the title, which is in the end, when it's all said and done at the end of the season, no one's going to think about how Liverpool finished second just like a couple of years ago when they almost got it.
Right.
But why don't you give us your thoughts, Mark, on this season for United, in particular, what happened with David Moyes?
Uh, I always like to think of myself as an optimist. I think being a Manchester United fan has provided me with the liberty to do so. You know? So I always kind of wanted to stay true to Manchester United in the sense that if this was the guy that we chose, then we need to stand by him no matter what. But I think Giggs sort of put it perfectly in his speech at Old Trafford over the weekend, and on Tuesday. And we're spoiled. We're like spoiled children out there right now. You know,
Yes.
we're kicking up a tantrum. We didn't win. We're in seventh
Did you
place.
take my script?
You know, fuck Moyes. We're tearing down the banner. You see the people raiding the attacking the security guards to rip down the banner when he lost to Everton. Like, it's spoiled children, and I think a lot of us are struggling because we're looking at the situation. We're going, let's stand together. Let's fucking be the Manchester United that we were in victory, as we are in defeat. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like it's the same problem that occurs that we were talking about. I mean, with such
Right.
a huge fan base, like whenever you have a group that big, you're always gonna have some bad eggs. I mean, we know it, and you get that kind of success earns you a lot of bandwagoners. So there's a lot of like I see motherfuckers here in LA driving around with 3 stickers on the back of their car. It'll be a USC sticker, a New York Yankees decal, and a Manchester
I
United.
really want to crash that car hard.
Dude, this is like I remember seeing this on a Range Rover on the 110 and just being like, oh god.
I hate that person.
Yeah, exactly. Like I fucking hate you. You're a miserable.
Yeah.
You're a United Yankees fan and a USC fan, all in one. Like
So
I
you
hate
so you
everything
like
about
teams
you.
that win, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm surprised there wasn't a Cowboy sticker. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
although maybe that's just because they haven't won shit for years.
Yeah.
So
No, Cowboys would be embarrassing at this point, right? I mean, that's
right.
They're probably a New England fan too.
Yeah, exactly.
And Miami Heat, right?
Yeah, Miami. Yeah, no,
Yeah, driving wearing a LeBron jersey.
Right,
think
with a license plate that says front runner on it.
I
Yeah.
I think it's almost as if for the first time in 26 years, Manchester United fans said to themselves, "I can't wait for this season to end. I can't wait for it just to be over. Put me out of my fucking misery." You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
tell us about it.
Tell us
Yeah.
about it. Tell me, what is that like?
At least we never learned what it was like to be without Champions League football, and hopefully that'll
Yeah,
continue.
well, hey,
Still, I mean, look, understand that like we were in a similar position to you guys, where we were sitting in eighth
right,
place, halfway through the season, we're like, fuck, we got to claw our way back to fourth,
right,
and knowing in January, like imagine it, you guys are always, even when you haven't won it, you've always been in it until the end. Like you've just learned how the last couple months of a Premier League season go without having anything at stake. I mean, you have play at stake, but nothing that you're fighting for, and it fucking sucks, man. The end of these seasons, once it's all gone and there's nothing left to play for except for playing for fourth,
right,
it's not that exciting. It's like we're out of all the cups. Great.
right,
This is all we have left.
right. I think in many ways though, I cherished every match and I made sure to watch every match this season.
What was your favorite moment of the season?
Juan Mata and Shinji Kagawa beating the shit out of what was it? Was it West Brom? 4-1. Just seeing the two of them, maestros, number 10s in their own right, coming together, working in tandem with each other to annihilate that team, and Januzaj scoring that goal. It was so gratifying. And the Sunderland 2-0. Honestly, the Sunderland 2-0, seeing David De Gea with one of the saves of the season, which for some reason he didn't win that one. He won the Suarez save rather than the Sunderland header, which I thought was more meaningful of a save against Sunderland. But to see Januzaj really emerge, to see James Wilson come out, to know that we have Pereira in the under 21s thriving.
I asked for one moment. What was it?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Then at the one moment, it's that fucking match where Mata comes together, Kagawa comes together, Januzaj scores, and we can really see the potential of this squad. And then the next game, we fucking get our asses handed to us by bottom third team. So that's
I was looking through your season because I know I was thinking, did it start off okay? And I was like, no. I mean, the first 10 matches, 17 points out of the 10 matches. And then the next 10 matches, the exact same 17 out of 30 points. And the next 10 matches, 16 out of 30. And then right now you're on a 12 out of 21.
Mm-hmm.
You have not had not even one run.
You guys have been remarkably consistent.
Yeah.
Remarkably consistently mediocre. It's not been a run. It's just been like we've been continuously kind of shit.
We've just been
win, loss, draw, win, draw, loss. Yeah.
I'm still not sure how you even got as many points as you did looking at those games.
I was just mortified at the amount of losses. It's like it was either a win or a loss.
Oh yeah.
Four
You guys
draws,
set your record of.
Well, I have some
How many losses
records.
they have? 12.
Do
you have something you remember from this season?
I have a list of records.
Okay.
So we have the first. So starting in September, West Brom's first win in 35 years. Since 1978 was the last win at Old Trafford. And then in December, in a span of a week, Everton had their first win since 92, and Newcastle had their first win since 72. And then a month later, Spurs won the first time since 89. And then the big one was this last week with Sunderland had not won since 1968 at Old Trafford.
I thought there was a team in there too who had never won.
I might have missed that one.
I think there was one. I'm pretty sure there was one of those because that was one of those things. Yeah, to have so many of those losses come at home too.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, it's a regular occurrence that you guys are losing at Old Trafford. Like when you lose the fortress mentality of that home stadium, it's such a fucking bitter blow to take. I
think one of the ESPN FC headlines pretty much summed it up for us. It was Theater of Nightmares. That was it. Like, I read that headline and I was like, this is our season right here. The theater of fucking nightmares.
Everything that could possibly go wrong did.
And we
fuck our wives.
We know nightmares. We literally have woken up at 4:55 to see we're down 3-0 against Liverpool and went,
Oh,
what?
God.
I mean, this season has provided a few nice gut checks for us. It's not like it's all been
Yeah, it's been rosy.
Certainly.
It was a period where
And
it was cool, but it wasn't rosy.
2 out of those 3 like huge defeats were ones that I pulled all-nighters for, and then like and it's like yeah, exactly. So that was a fucking nightmare. And then the last one, like I didn't even what was the last one we got? It was Chelsea. I slept through Chelsea. I didn't even see the Chelsea match.
I woke up and it was 2-0, and then there was a penalty. I think I woke up to a penalty or something.
Right at 2-0.
At 2-0, and I turned it off.
Oh.
I was sick.
think anybody conceded that many goals to Chelsea.
No.
Like, in the Mourinho era.
We have style.
No. It was his biggest. We gave him his biggest win.
Yeah, right, exactly. Something crazy like that.
Hey, but at least his record got broken. They lost twice in a row at home at Stamford Bridge.
You know what? Honestly, it pissed me off that the record for Manchester United have never conceded a goal in the first minute, and we conceded that to Man City.
Ooh.
Yeah, never. Club history never conceded a goal in the first minute, and we conceded that to Man City.
One of the many things that David Moyes brought.
Thank you for that. And when he did get let go, it was a relief.
Yeah,
it wasn't anybody who celebrated it can go fuck themselves. It was a relief, honestly, because there's no celebration in his fire.
There were plenty who celebrated.
There was only mourning. There was only mourning and relief. That should have been your 2 emotions right there. But there's nothing to celebrate about this season. Absolutely nothing. Januzaj signing Wayne Rooney's contract, like signing Juan Mata, those are small consolations. Nothing to celebrate, really. So, cheers to that, right?
Juan Mata's going to be your dead wood.
Fuck off.
It's going to be your Bentner.
That's not true, though.
That ain't happening.
No, that's not true.
Yes, but Kagawa's sitting there, and he's similar.
It pains me because being half Asian, you are rooting for those Asian players to really succeed and triumph. And Park Ji-sung was a great example of that. And for me to see Kagawa just rusting on the bench is heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's not like it was not like it was just Moyes. I mean, he probably had more time this year than he did last season.
Yep. But what's crazy is our win rate is much higher with him on the starting lineup. Much higher.
Mm.
I think it's almost like we lost like 1 match with him in the starting lineup.
I still kind of expect him to be gone this summer, most likely. I mean, he's got to go somewhere where he's going to play more regularly.
It's sad to say, Napoli's looking at him. By all the graces of the 7 gods, go to fucking Napoli, dude. Find a place that you can flourish because you deserve it, Kagawa.
Go back to BVB. I'm okay with him coming back to Dortmund.
BVB. Do what Sahin did. Go back.
Yeah.
Go home.
Yeah.
Go home where you belong.
I'm totally okay with that. I'll break out my Kagawa jersey out of the closet because
you have one.
a Dortmund one, which is
funny you say that.
Retired.
I went to Tokyo. I went to the Nike store to buy a Cesaro Osaka Kagawa jersey, and it was $250. I couldn't afford that shit. I had paid enough money getting to Tokyo. I could not pay $250.
Yeah, no shit. Just buy it from fucking China on eBay while you're here.
No, it has to mean something. It has to mean something. It has to be from Japan, and it has to be the Osaka jersey.
Yeah. Well, if it meant so much to you, it should have been worth your $250 fucking. So put up or shut up if it means.
It wasn't that It wasn't that I didn't want to pay. It was that I couldn't afford it. There's a difference.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I can wholeheartedly understand that.
Right.
Understand that. That.
Do I eat or do I buy the jersey? That was my option. So.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Crazy stuff. Crazy season that we've had this year.
Great.
It's just been so much stuff all over the place, and really, it's been one of those years. Like this would have been a typical year for Manchester United to win the title in the sense that like. No one wants it. Everybody fucked up at some point down the stretch. Like all of a sudden, Arsenal have been the most consistent team in the past month because we got our losses out in April.
Yeah, we got them all out of the way.
March. Yeah. March. Yeah, we got that all out of the way. But I mean, so it's been pathetic. And like I think a couple of the past years when United did win the title, it was more just like no other team was consistent enough, and United were just consistent enough to stay ahead of the pack of the rest of us who just keep fucking up.
And
So
it almost seems humorous when you consider that some of their most consistent players during those seasons were players like Tom Cleverley. I mean, it's got to be a joke. I mean,
all right, look, hold on. Tom Clever was not one of your most consistent players when you guys won the title. Look, I guess he played a decent amount
when
last
he
year,
played,
but before that,
that's consistency. You know what I mean?
I've never seen Tom Cleverley do anything consistently well. So
Not one thing.
He's the crab.
No.
He's the crab. When he gets the ball, he passes it out to the side.
Yes,
So
he's
He's Jordan Nielsen. He's Jordan
Nielsen.
Nielsen.
nothing, just like unspectacular in every which way. I used to think of Lucas Leiva that way too, but I guess he's gotten a little bit better. I still don't really rate him that much.
I would think Henderson's in that same category for me. All of a sudden,
The whole
he's
class
gotten
of,
better.
But not the crab, he's the duck.
Yeah, he's the duck.
what is it? The class of Kenny Dalglish. Somebody should
Yeah.
coin a term for that failure.
Oh
of
yeah,
transfer.
it has to be. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Andy Carroll, Stuart Downing, Jordan Henderson.
I think John Joe Shelby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam.
But they bought John Joe, or wasn't he?
He was he was
Academy.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
But
an academy.
they bought Charlie Adam.
Yeah, Charlie Adam.
That's
That
it.
fucking thing.
That's it. Not Shelby. Charlie Adam. Fucking hell.
I heard a really hilarious question. I think it was on the Arscast Extra this past week. It was something like, "Would you rather brush Charlie Adams' teeth or shave someone's body hair?" Who the fuck was it? Someone disgusting, and really fucking hairy. But
It's
yeah.
probably Greek then. It's probably a Greek player.
It wasn't a Greek. It was someone else, just like disgusting. Okay. I forget, and now I'm slaughtering it. But yeah, it was hilarious because no one wants to get anywhere near that disgusting mouth and face of whatever the fuck it is that Charlie Adam has.
And yet,
in
he
the round.
had to score that goal against us. I mean,
well, like he can do a couple things well.
He scored some decent goals this year.
yeah.
But I mean, when
always
you when you read the quotes about him, like about what happened, like when he turned up the training at Liverpool and his antics and shit, it's just a bit ridiculous. He is a Scotsman. You know what I mean? Like he is as Scottish as they come.
No, that's awesome.
With all the stereotypical vices and whatnot.
Okay, so we brought it up before the podcast started, but manager of the year.
I'm gonna have to go with, against my better judgment, I have to go with Tony Pulis.
Tony Pulis.
It's hard to go against that. I mean, I think
look
what he's
done.
Yeah,
And he just fucked over Liverpool, right? I mean, that should give him, right? I mean, that's like he's done all these things. They got a result against Chelsea. They get a result against Chelsea.
The squad
too.
that they have, it's remarkable. To be honest, that squad is
Shamak
crap. It's
and
crap.
Jerome are your two fucking center forward options.
Yeah.
He keeps bringing that kid, the one he brought off the bench,
Dwight
Gale, off the bench all the time, and that kid somehow finds a goal.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess he's got some kind of like.
No, Dwight Gale's got that composure.
I don't know if he's channeled like the fucking Eye of Sauron or something to fucking get his orcs to move in the right ways.
Yeah.
That chested pass, that was
great.
something else down to Gale. That was amazing.
That was beautiful. I gotta say.
Did you see that goal, Joaquin?
I did not.
Oh man.
Man, in that moment when it happened too, it was shocking.
It's just a long ball from the back.
Yeah.
A center forward, the one that's been out for them all season, that scored all their goals last year in the championship. I forget his name.
For Palace?
Yeah, for Palace.
Yeah.
He's pretty much been out all season. But I think he's just recently returned and hit it up to him, and he chested it onto Gale. I mean, he couldn't have passed it with his foot any better than that.
He chested it over Skirtle or Sacco, I can't remember, but yeah, it was perfection, I gotta say. And you rarely see something develop in that way.
And then, like you said, the composure of Gale just
turned
and just placed it. I mean, with no hesitation at all. And
you know
it was
what?
Beautiful.
You know what was funny is ESPN released the team with the highest drop rating of the season, and Mignolet was included in that team. Of course, Fellaini was in that team, and a few other players from Manchester United. But Mignolet was on that team, and watching that match, I think that he lacked the same composure that even Dwight Gale had in front of goal. And I mean, a lot of it was the defense's fault. I'll give him that. But man, Simon Mignolet coming into Liverpool, doing an amazing job rescuing them in the first 2-3 matches that he was there, and then just having a poor form, I think, for the rest of the season.
That I blame the manager mostly on that. I mean, I know you got to have people on field to do that, but literally both that really ugly kid they have on the left and Johnson were
Flanagan.
Who?
yeah
Flanagan.
yeah
Flanagan.
that Lurpy guy. But
Yeah.
they were so far forward. I mean, there were times where Johnson was the farthest forward person on Liverpool. It was ridiculous.
It's naive tactics, absolutely. Very, very naive to do what they did.
Especially after
And
they scored the first one, right? Then you're like, all right, let's shore up the back and then let the front six take care of it.
Yeah, once it gets to 3-1, all right, let's get a little bit more. Let's bring it in. Let's get a more fucking compact, formation here.
I see what you're
And see out the fucking result. But instead, they decided to turn it up like clown shoes. I saw the joke. It was so great at Liverpool to reenact the Istanbul 3-3 for their fans, right?
Yeah.
Things along those lines. I mean, the jokes were endless.
Oh, they were beautiful.
I was watching it. I think I got out of class and I went to my campus pub and watched the first half of the match. And at halftime, it's looking pretty easy. It was only 1-0, but they were dominating the match.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this. I don't really care about this match that much. It looks going to be pretty straightforward. I leave school to go to a friend's place, and then I see something about them going up 3-0. I was like, oh, it's over. And I walk into my friend's place, and all of a sudden I see it's 3-2 with less than 10 minutes to go, and then I see the equalizer, and it's just like, holy shit.
You had
3-0, and you fucked it up.
Yeah. You had the sense after 3-2 they weren't leaving this match with a win.
And that's worse than our 4-4. That's worse than.
Well, yeah. Plus, because we had dodgy fouls and penalties and everything. Yeah, this was just them giving up 3.
10 men, and it wasn't in the next to last game of the season with a shot at the title on the line. You got to take the magnitude of the situation, man. Holy shit.
I would say in those 15 minutes, the only way I know how to put it, they got outclassed. Man. Outclassed, outplayed, just crumbled. You could say that they crumbled and the defense did all these things, and while they contributed to the tie, Crystal Palace just stepped it up. Their number 7, I don't even know his name, was running circles around Glenn Johnson. Dwight Gale with the composure.
Let's give credit to these other teams who have really done a good job and have given a good. Really made a good case and made a good statement for the league in the sense of really competing, and Crystal Palace don't have any motivation in terms of goals to achieve to really show that fight back in that game as well as the others that they've done. And we've seen that across world football right now. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that are safe that are taking points off Barcelona and Real Madrid and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Real Madrid just fucked up again. Let's talk about fucking La Liga. That title race has been interesting as fuck, and all of a sudden, as shit as Barcelona have been, they can technically win the title by winning out, which is insane. And you look at them, but who's to say they're not going to drop points against Elche this weekend?
Yeah,
because
they're already talking about Tata Martino getting fired.
Oh well, he's gone. He's gone no matter what. Even if they win this title somehow, if they pull it out of their fucking ass, which will really piss me off if they do. I know Joseph would be dying.
Annoying.
That'd be great.
I just I don't know. I guess if I'm gonna be greedy, I think the best thing we could see would be Barcelona take the lead and then give up a last minute equalizer in that game so Atletico win.
Yeah. Please that happen.
Happened in the 94th minute, so it could be when United thought they won the title 2 years ago. And
that was beautiful.
Are we bringing that up?
What we're talking about. Look, that was the best drama I've ever seen in the last day of the league, and I was just hoping. I mean,
1-1 at Newcastle was pretty good.
Yeah, 1-1 at Newcastle was pretty good too. You know that Spurs fans thought that Newcastle equalized and they started celebrating. It was
Last
hilarious.
season on the last day.
Last season on the last day.
They thought when they won their match, they came off the field thinking that they were in the Champions League because the fans had gotten so excited at a point.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
You know what's funny that you bring this up? I've seen videos lately about there's some team in Division 3, but about Schalke storming the field thinking they've won the Bundesliga when really Bayern Munich had done it. Like,
I haven't seen that.
No, it's.
But as a Dortmund fan, I can thoroughly enjoy that. That's about as good as. I mean, Schalke's got a lot more success than Spurs do.
Right. Yeah.
You know, in the power swing right now for them, that they are the Spurs to.
They are. That's a very good
BBB
comparison. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but so to go back to Spain though, so like these teams in particular, I mean, Spain is notorious for being a two-horse race, and that little teams, roll over and have their bellies tickled instead of actually fighting for points. And we've seen a very good advertisement. And look, I mean, and some of these teams needed points. I mean, I think Valladolid with their point, was it yesterday against Real Madrid?
Mm-hmm.
They needed that point they got, pulled them out of the relegation zone. So I mean, that's big. That's big for them. But a few other teams that haven't even needed these points have done a lot of work in terms of actually, getting results over there in Spain. And now it's all to play for. Real Madrid have fucked up. Barcelona have fucked up repeatedly. And Atletico just can see, and Atletico dropped points, or they lost the weekend.
How did they lose? I don't get it.
Well, I watched that match in full.
Right.
And it was just one of those days where nothing's going in. You hit the crossbar, things are going off the other side, dominating the entire game, and then get caught on the break and give up a goal. And then they dominate the whole time, and then they give up another goal, and fuck, it's over. So
it's almost as if, the saying, "This is football." This whole season across the countries of Europe has been that. This is fucking football.
Yeah, and it's reminded us of the beauty of it, because I mean, like you said, this kind of drama. I forgot who I was talking to yesterday or something, but it's just like the fucking Premier League, man. Like this is beautiful shit, because this is what we all want from it. I mean, we all wish our team were involved in this last minute title foray, but the drama that comes along with the sport and what we've seen has been fantastic. And there's still more twists and turns. We've got Arsenal.
No, one day, 10 matches.
All on TV.
Anything
I guess. Whereas usually we've got, I was hoping we'd have a little bit more relegation to look at, but that's pretty much done, right?
Yeah.
Well, this season has ended up being the relegation's done. Norwich have to.
I'm a little surprised that they ended up going down. I think out of that group.
Shit.
Well, yes, but.
Well, I think it's because no one expected Sunderland to win like 5 on the trot or get.
Well, even Crystal Palace. At December, you didn't think that those teams were going to change.
I had been following Van Wolfswinkel since Manchester United had expressed interest in him a while ago. Leroy Fair, I'm a big fan of. I thought they had brought in some really quality players, hard-working players. And it was as if, I don't know, maybe the management, obviously they changed managers throughout the halfway through the season, and
they got rid of
couldn't pull it together. They just couldn't pull it together.
Yeah, well, tough luck for them.
I know, and yet Stoke City won't fucking go down.
It pisses
me off.
Why?
It's strange.
Palace will go down next year.
You think so?
I don't know.
I can't see Fulham coming back for 8 years.
Hey, how about was it Al Fayed? Wasn't he their old owner saying that he said he came out and made a statement saying that it's because they got rid of the Michael Jackson statue out front, so they went down. Like, this motherfucker, man.
And apparently he claims that they asked for it back and he refused. He refused to return the Michael Jackson statue outside.
They needed their lucky charm because that's what got them the Premier League, because it was there then. But it wasn't.
The Michael Jackson statue, right?
Yeah, the Michael Jackson statue. I don't know, man. Do you have any views on the Champions League? Do you have a pick on who you think's gonna win?
Oh,
Atletico or Real?
Man, that is tough, huh? The first time ever that the same city, two teams. I in my heart I want to say it's Atletico. You know what? I think it's gonna be Atletico because seeing from the Copa del Rey final last season, them pulling it out. It seems like since Simeone has come into place, which by the way I have mixed feelings about because I have huge respect for him as a manager. Absolutely love the guy as a manager, but he did get Beckham red carded in the '98 World Cup, and I'm still bitter about that.
What are you, fucking English?
What?
Where are you? Why are you better? What were you, English?
Oh yeah, I'm an English fan. I'm an England fan. See, in Singapore, where I'm from, we're a British colony for many years before they abandoned us and let the Japanese kill the shit out of us. But that's not the point. The point is we're all
So you should hate them for being deserters.
for the majority of
For
it.
some reason,
we can't be Singapore.
Why would you support such a shit national team anyway? I mean,
But that's just who I am. I supported Manchester United when I was a child. I supported England when I was a child, and I've stuck with both. And it just so happens that England has been the shittier of the two. But Simeone has had Real Madrid's number since he pulled that team into his image, and I think they're going to do it again. They are.
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. Joseph, do you have a pick? Do you think who's going to? Do you know who you think?
My pick's been Madrid.
Oh,
The whole year long it was been.
Yeah.
Not that I want them to win.
I'm going to go against it because that was we both picked Madrid to win this Champions League. That was I expected and it all depends on the draw, but it was a Bayern Munich Real Madrid final. I thought Madrid would get La Decima, but I'm praying that's not the case. I want Atletico. I mean, I think it'd be a tragedy for Atletico not to walk away with at least one of those two pots.
Right.
And I think what would be more fair for them because of the consistency they've shown over the season was for them to win La Liga.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they could pull the double, that's got to be like the most unprecedented thing, and you got to give Simeone Coach of the Year and all that kind of shit. If he can pull the double of the Champions League and La Liga, beating out Real and Barcelona, that's fucking fantastic.
And then he's going to retain all those players. Atletico is going to be the team
outside of Costa.
Yeah, well, okay.
They're looking. I mean, I saw rumors today about them bidding on Leandro Damião.
Yeah, but do they have any money? They don't have any money.
No, they don't. They have to raise it. So basically, they're gonna fleece Costa for as much as they can get, and then use.
But doesn't this happen
every? Use that.
Doesn't this kind of happen every 10 years that the third team kind of? I mean, Valencia did it right for a couple of years, and then they were gotten themselves in a huge amount of debt, and then they had to sell off all their players and still suffering and building another team from youth. Isn't this going to?
Right. Yeah. Atletico are suffering too. I mean, they're not in great financial shape, so they're going to have to do some selling. But what they've been able to do is spend. I mean, they've spent wisely on their replacements. They sell high and they buy at like a little bit lower, and it's worked out for them. I mean, remarkably well. I mean, if you look at how it's, you lose Torres, but you bring in Agüero and you bring in Forlan. When you sell those guys, then you splash the money to bring in Falcao. He's great for a couple seasons, and then he goes, and so you cash in on him.
Right.
They only got like half the money on Falcao because he was third-party ownership, so they didn't get as much for him.
Well, and that's part of why
they lucked out with Costa, right? Because he was pretty much internal, right?
Oh yeah, he's internal. They've had him for years, which is kind of funny because they loaned him out a couple times. He was loaned out during last season too, which it's crazy to think of how quickly these things change, right?
Right.
This guy's going to be the number one striker for Spain, and I forget where he was on loan. He was on loan at a lower side.
Vallecano?
Yeah, I think it was at Rayo Vallecano at least for a while,
Yeah.
but.
I had no idea about any of those things. But I mean, I know the spending habits of Atletico. But I mean, if in that vein, it sort of makes me think about Southampton. I sort of feel like
they're going to get picked apart this summer a little bit.
They're going to get picked apart, but I think they've always had that youth system that produces some real stars. I mean, Gareth Bale, for example. Let me just give you that guy right there. And I think that they're just going to keep making a lot of money and maybe rise to prominence.
You forgot Joseph's favorite player.
Theo Walcott is the only reason that club still exists.
No, there's a reason I didn't mention him.
And Alex Oxlade.
I wasn't forgetting him. Trust me.
You would much rather have Theo Walcott on your side than Ashley fucking Young. So
Ashley Young, fucking Nani, you fucking name any of the people you got on the wing.
I'm a huge detractor of Theo Walcott, I would say. Just mainly because of the whole 14-year-old prodigy, next greatest English player of all time shit.
That's the media's fault. That's not him.
I mean that's I just blame England for that. England just love fucking overhyping players and shit. I mean, look, So that's their own fucking problem. They build those problems for themselves.
Yeah, I mean they do that with every. I mean Townsend was the next coming a god earlier this year, right?
Right. Yeah.
Sounds fucking useless.
And they've moved on, and then they switched to Barkley, and switched off to Barkley when he got a little bit injured, and now they're back onto Barkley after he scores one fucking goal.
Hey, hold on, Barkley's pretty fucking good. I'm
not saying he's not good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that he's overhyped.
But I did see that recently, an article about putting the weight of England on his shoulders. I'm like, who's talking about that?
It's sensationalist English writers. They're fucking idiots. That's what they do. It gets clicks. Yeah. That's it. Right. That's it. Well, how do you feel since you're an England fan? What about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain? You think he's a real talent?
I do. Okay. In all honesty, I do. I do believe that he's got, for his size too, he's got a lot of strength, a lot of pace, a lot of speed, accuracy. I look at him
kind of like Rooney.
Pardon?
I look at him kind of like Rooney because he's got that compact build and a lot of strength and power and like a smaller frame, but still has good pace.
I think the one thing that separates him from Rooney is that bloodthirsty hunger. Like, when Rooney came into the fray against Fenerbahce, you could tell right away. Even at Everton, you could tell, man, he just he could taste the blood. He wanted your throat,
Granny
Oxlade-Chamberlain
he's tasting.
Still hasn't developed into the player ready to rip your throat
Granny aftertaste.
Yeah, but let's be fair. I mean, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is still only 20 years old, I believe. Is that right, Joseph? Right?
Yeah, and he's unfortunately he was a little bit too injured this year.
Yeah.
And I really expected this to be his breakthrough season, and he looked really good in preseason. Then he had to miss 5 months. So I really think next year he's really going to kick on. One of my Liverpool fans had theorized that Arsenal need to fire their medical staff and hire a new bunch. Oh, they came up with that? Like everyone else has been talking about that for like that shit for years. Yeah.
I had never heard that before.
They almost have to do it just as like a token gesture because maybe it has nothing to do with them, but this happens so much over and over again. They need to be like, well, you know what I mean? It's like you can fire the coach, you can fire that, you can do all these things, but if nothing happens, it's like someone's head has to roll for this. Like, why the fuck does everyone go out? Like, maybe you did nothing wrong. We can't find anything wrong with what you're doing, but we need a fresh look. We need to we gotta do something, and people would understand. All right, we have a new director of whatever our fucking medical staff.
We're doing it with the youth system. It's time to do it with the medical staff.
That chick from Man City with the hot ass. Have you seen that girl?
City?
The one from Chelsea.
Chelsea, sorry, not Man City. Yeah.
Chelsea got the hot physio.
You need her. I think she'll.
I don't even know her name, but a lot of people do know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
Yeah, I don't know her name either, but yeah, I mean. There's just something going on. It's like they got that mad scientist in the medical team back there, and he's doing all sorts of crazy experiments, and it's just making the injuries last longer than they should.
It's partly that, but it's partly the manager and the way he uses them.
Right. Okay. I'll definitely.
And it's carrying a short squad for 3 or 4 years now too. Usable squad. Usable.
Right. Right.
We had a year where we had like 8 or 9 deadweight players.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I think buying is a big part of that too. This Ozil thing, that's good. That's positive. Spending all that money on Ozil, that's a positive thing. I feel because even though he got injured, not as long as some of these other guys did. At least it added depth and it added that superstar quality that Arsenal seemed to have sold away rather than purchased in the last decade. So.
No, and it's a big step for us in terms of it being a statement. But really, for anyone to think it's any more than a one-off, you have to do another one. Like you need another splash player. This summer, Joseph, I'm going to go to you. What do you think we do moving forward here with Arsenal? I mean, we don't really need to get into transfer topics, players and stuff just yet. But what do you think we need to be doing from here on out?
Well. I mean, the key is to continue to re-sign our best players and keep them for the first time in a decade, which looks like hopefully Koscielny extends his contract to 2019 is what it's reported as being on the table, and for me the key is just to continue to keep the players we want to keep. Will we buy? We like you said, we made one big splash. I don't expect another one like that ever again. Um, and I'm okay with that as long as the players that he has worked so hard to develop we keep. So I don't think anything's going to change. I think you'd be a fool to think anything is going to change.
The physio's name is Eva Carneiro. Sum me up.
That just sounds sexy.
Oh, dude, you gotta look at the picture that Brian tweeted at me. I didn't even look at it until I looked at it, but yeah, she got some cakes, dude. Those some quality yams. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. I've been mesmerized. Now I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
Wow.
We were talking about Ozil, but let me just. I think
you were asking me about what do we need to do.
Yeah.
So that's really what we need to do. Because I don't think that we will be signing the 5 players we really need to compete for a title. But I think our players will continue to get better.
So I heard an interesting question on the Bergkamp Wonderland podcast I was listening to earlier today, and there was an interesting question they were posed to by a listener, and although I believe they misread the question, because Danny was saying, would you either get Remy or a midfielder? I think what the point of the question was would you rather? So if Arsenal, let's be realistic, if they were to make a big signing, it would be one player that would be in the, let's say, the above the 20 million threshold, or maybe even 30 million, if that could ever happen. Would you rather, Joseph, that money be spent on a striker or a world-class defensive midfielder? So would you rather go for a smaller term target, as in like a Loic Remy or someone who's going to cost in the, I don't know, 15 million or 10 or under 20 range in striker, and then go for a 30 to 40 million pound midfielder, so someone like a Javi Martinez or someone like that who is of established class, or the other way around? Would you spend that money all on a striker instead?
Well, usually if you're paying that much for a striker, they're worth it. You once you get that high. So I would rather spend it on a striker because they are much more difficult to come by. Whereas I think there's plenty of options in the defensive midfielder around the world. So that's what I would do.
So even if that defensive mid would be someone like Javi Martinez, I mean, I'm just intrigued by this because
how much more does he add to? Was our problem? I mean, other than the 3 really poor games, our problems weren't defensive this season. We didn't score enough goals.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's a big vacancy that we really need to fill. But I don't know, man. We look at these defensive midfielders that were signed this past year around the top few clubs. You could say a guy like Javi Martinez is exactly what Arsenal and Manchester United both need in terms of being that presence that could be your linchpin. And you're thinking of we're thinking of who we're going to get to play alongside Ramsey, and the idea of having someone like Javi Martinez next to him is mouthwatering. He's everything that Fellaini wishes he could be in terms of defensive midfield. You know what I mean? But
you have to get your jab. You have to get your jab.
You already told me you're not a big fan of Fellaini and what he's done, so I'm not
I know. I'm
casting any shade in that sense. But I mean, in the sense that both of these teams are missing, could really use something like that. And if that kind of player is available, if he really is available, those are the two teams. Because you look at guys look at what Matic and a guy like Fernandinho have done for those midfields for City and Chelsea respectively. I mean,
well, right, but aren't there? I mean, we all agree that that's a position we need, that we need at the club to be dealt with, because we haven't had a real one. I don't know, since Gilberto. I don't know. I mean, really.
Yeah, I mean, Song was a defensive midfielder.
Right, and he was decent, but he's better than what we have. He's better than what we have for sure. But I just think that there's more options at that position around the world. That's why I think. It's not that I don't think Martinez would be a great signing. I'd be ecstatic.
You think there's more options at cheaper prices? What was that, Mark?
Who do you have now? Who's your dedicated CDM right now?
Flamini and Arteta, both of
Okay,
whom
yeah.
are past their best days, and,
Right.
and to be perfectly honest, they're great squad players, and I like them being in there and around, and I want them both at the club next season. But you want that one guy who, is that cut above, that above and beyond, the guy that's going to be your rock in your midfield.
Right.
And
Right.
honestly, it's the perfect year to bring him in, right? Because you've got Arteta 1 more year, and Flamini's on 2 more years. So you've got a guy who doesn't have to have it all on his shoulders this season while he gets used to the league.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mike Habs is saying that song's coming back. Yeah, fucking right. Alex Dimitri,
Yeah.
song belong.
Does
You
that
take your
mean that
dodgy hair and get the fuck
Steve
on.
Bold is leaving? Because I think that's the only way that
Yeah.
happens.
Right. Yeah, so that's not likely to happen. I mean, to be fair, so what Arsenal really need in this summer, we need a center forward, obviously of some sort of quality. I mean, I'm really wondering whether or not Arsenal's going to do his typical thing and take a punt on a guy that has a lot of potential but isn't as proven, or if he really does make the splash signing. I wish it is the splash signing, and I think we should make serious inquiries for whoever the best players are that are available. And this is one of those situations. Obviously, the Martinez thing is like, if he becomes available, you have to go for him. You have to try for him. And I think you got to be realistic. Like, you're not going to get him for under 35 million. You know what I mean? Like, Bayern just paid 40 million pounds. You know, maybe 42. It was like 40 and change, or 40 million pounds, 40 something million euros for him. Like, you're not going to get a big discount on that. Okay, so he's a year, 2 years older. Okay, maybe you can knock like 5 million off of it, but you're not really going to get, like, we're not getting him for 20. Like, if Arsene goes in there and offers them 20 million pounds, it's going to be like, come on, bro. Like, seriously, this is what you're going to do? Because I mean, that'd be typical in our negotiation style, apparently. But yeah, it's not a fair thing to say.
Right?
Well, it's the thing that he's an economist, and he has this valuation in his head of what players are worth, and he's so
Right.
rigid on that. And the problem is, like, that's all good and great if you're the only one with the money, but like, in this inflated market now where players go for ridiculous money, that's just what you have to fucking stump it up.
You're competing with PSG. That's
We are. You're competing with PSG. You're competing with Chelsea. You're competing with Manchester City.
your
These
problem.
teams
That's
that
your problem.
regularly give players $200K in wages a week.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
So it's tough to say where you're going to go with that. But I mean, realistically, this squad. I mean, Arsenal need probably 5 bodies in, and that's without. That's only considering 1 or 2 departures. Like Fabianski's gone, Sanya's gone.
That should be it, but I know it won't be. But that's what
That
it
should be it. Like we shouldn't sell Vermaelen. We really
Nope.
shouldn't.
Not at all.
But we all have that feeling that he's going to go.
Yeah.
So
Do you think he wants to go somewhere else to be a true center back?
who?
Yeah.
Vermaelen.
Well, he is a true center back. You mean like a starting center back week in, week out? Yes.
Because they've been playing him left back as well, right?
Well,
Yeah, it's only 'cause we had an injury.
He's played like
He
2
couldn't get in the
matches
team.
there as cover, and that's like, he's technically still our captain, and so they're giving him minutes. Like and he's performed well there for us this season in like the 2 or 3 matches he's played at left back.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, he's a center back, and the thing is that he is good enough to be a starting center back He's going to be a starting center back at Liverpool. He's going to be a starting center back at at tons of clubs. I mean, right now he's going to be a starting center back at United. He is.
Yeah.
But like you said, Napoli and stuff, like other big teams would want someone like him. You could even see fucking Barcelona taking a punt on him, considering that he could probably play their style relatively well.
If
And
you're gonna go after Daniel Agger, why not go after Thomas Vermaelen?
so, right. I mean, so why not? So it's interesting to see how that's going to work out. But really, what this team needs is they need a right back replacement.
Mhm.
Like, we need to replace our right back
Mhm.
because Back's gone. If it's Serge Aurier, the Frenchman from Toulouse, I don't know,
Mhm. Yeah.
who is a self-professed gunner and all that kind of stuff. His highlight reel looks fantastic, but I really haven't watched him play too much. But he's got power, pace, good
Right.
whip.
I haven't
good
been worried
finishing.
about the right back position at all. About losing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's if there's
not
one
that-
thing Arsene knows how to do is get right backs, because all right backs have been physical fucking specimens and ridiculous athletes. And like when I look at the video for Serge, it makes too much sense because he fits the mold. Because you look at like Loren, Eboué, and Sanya, they're all ridiculously fit athletes,
Mhm.
you know, and have been great. So he's got a good track record with finding these gems there. So I'm not too worried about that. But you need a new right back, you need a new center midfielder, a defensive midfielder, and you
Mhm.
need a new central striker. And like the rest we fill out in terms of depth, and it's not as important. I mean, like I'm not as worried about our backup goalkeeper situation because you could always pull in a fucking Viviano on loan and then never play him if you don't ever need to.
Right.
You know, can you think of any other player that we've ever loaned in particular, or has United ever loaned a player that's never played one single match? Because Viviano's never going to play for Arsenal his entire Arsenal career. Anyone?
No.
No.
Yeah, it was.
That we loaned out who never.
No. You.
No, that you guys signed,
Yep.
you know, whether it be on loan or as a real player, and then never played. We have Park Ju Young, who I think has like 2 appearances to his name.
Right.
Two more than me.
Right. True. 2 more than me as well. And I think Amari Bischoff played like once or twice.
I don't even honestly remember us loaning that many players to begin with, let alone.
Yeah,
not
you guys haven't done
you
too
know.
many loans.
We've only done, and we don't usually either.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah, it's just
Well,
not that
We
common.
had what,
We're teams that
Baptista?
loan him out. Yeah, Julio the Beast Baptista with the swap with Reyes.
I remember
This-
that.
fucking pissed me off back then when Reyes wanted to get the fuck out of England.
Yeah. But all right, let's let me ask because we've been talking about Arsenal. You guys mentioned Podolski and Ozil and everything, and it really made me think about what do you think of so far the announced World Cup squads of Brazil and Germany? Jurgi Löw is not bringing.
We're not talking World Cup here.
Oh, we're not talking World Cup here.
No,
Okay,
man.
my bad.
No, it's okay. I think the squads are all right. I mean, I'm surprised.
Really can complain too much about either one of them, really.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really. I think the omissions of Felipe Luis and Miranda, who both play for Atletico, were surprising for me for Brazil, as well as Lucas Moura not going and taking a guy like I like Bernard. He played well at Mineiro, but I think he went to Shakhtar or something, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. You just never really see him play outside of when he played there for the Champions League. But I think of like Lucas Moura, and I'd rather take him than little Bernard. But you know, Big Phil knows. So who am I to say?
It's just shocking to me that the strikers for Germany right now, as it stands, are Lucas Podolski and Miroslav Klose.
Yeah, I think there's one more that was named, but yeah, it's like they listed Podolski as a midfielder, but and then Klose and someone else with the strikers. What was that?
They listed him as a forward.
I guess we very different ones.
Weird. Yeah. I don't know. Been thinking.
Yeah, I know. They've got a lot of. Germany's got a lot of false 9 type players because they can play.
Right. Thomas Mueller.
They have Julian Draxler, who probably won't be starting or anything like that, but he's a guy who can do some of that. There's Royce. There's a lot of Podolski, who is a second striker or a winger. But I mean, even then, like Royce is the starting left wing option for Germany as it stands.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of predicted, and they're not. Are those all final? Yeah, those are finalized, right? The Germany one, no, the Brazil one is done. That's the 23.
Oh, that's done.
Germany's the 30-man, and there's a couple omissions. I think Lars Bender's there, but Sven isn't. There aren't really any other glaring omissions. But yeah, I'm not really too worried about the World Cup stuff just quite yet.
Right.
Let's finish up talking about our Arsenal, and then we'll move on from there. Joseph, we do have the last game of the season, though, leading up to, which is kind of a tune-up for us before the FA Cup final. Do you have an expectation that Arsene Wenger will play a rotated side, and who do you think?
He has to. I think I know he doesn't. Per could use. I mean, give the guy 1 week break. I mean, he has played.
Right. All right. So Vermaelen comes in. Vermaelen comes in.
I think Gibbs is back fit, so he probably could use some time, even if you split it, even if you split the match, you know.
I think off the bench, yeah.
Yeah, Jenks would be nice to get.
Jenkins should get a start.
Because you never know what happens in a final, so it'd be nice for him to get a little bit of time. Beyond that, I would expect to see Karlstrom, Flamini.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Exactly. No, you expect to see them.
To me, I'd play a completely rotated side, but
I think you'll still see like you might even still see Ozil, which seems unnecessary, but You'll see Ozil or Cazorla. I think you'll still see a couple of them. You might see Podolski still in.
I would assume maybe Rosicky.
Yeah, Rosicky is a good shout.
But
have him playing there.
I would like a rotated side.
Sonogo up front. Yeah,
Sonogo needs some minutes.
Seems fair, especially in a dead rubber like this. You really should.
Yeah, it means nothing to Norwich either. I mean, they can't.
Why don't we play ZLM? Is he fit?
I don't know.
He's
busy getting his passport.
We can only hope. Then I'll be fucking excited. As soon as he signs up for the USA, I'll be jumping for joy, as will many of our fellow Gooners. So what do you think's gonna happen? You think we're gonna turn over Norwich? It's like, it feels like almost previewing it is almost pointless, but you think we'll get the job done pretty easily, Joseph?
I think it'd be a 2-2 draw.
Wow.
Fuck that.
That's really pessimistic.
No, it's not. It doesn't mean it. There's going to be some sloppy things towards the end of the match. And
right.
It's away, and you know.
So who scores for us?
Sonogo gets his first goal.
Okay.
And
he'll bundle it in somehow.
And Jenks gets a goal.
Wow, you're really going for it out on a limb there, huh?
Well, what can I do?
I'm gonna go.
Just be wrong.
Who scores on Norwich then?
Yeah, we don't know.
Snodgrass with a double.
Snodgrass and Basong.
Snodgrass at the double.
And Van Penis Wrinkle.
Okay.
Because I don't think he scored either, has he?
He scored
or something?
one or two.
One goal, I think. One goal.
Yeah, same amount as Soldado from open play. All right.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna say 3-1. I expect Podolski to get a goal. I don't know what's a no-go. I don't know if Sanogo's ever gonna score a goal.
Yaya is gonna score a goal someday.
Yeah,
Someday.
I hope. Maybe. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, he'll get his first goal. That'd be great.
He's gonna
and a Flamini goal. There you go. There's my
wow.
team. Yep.
And an angry celebration to boot.
An angry celebration. A fucking fist. Fist of fury. Yeah, I don't know. Who do you guys have on the last day, Mark?
Southampton.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping we beat the shit out of them so that Luke Shaw looks at us and goes, "Okay, maybe it's a good idea if I moved over there." But apart from that,
it'll be a good idea for his paycheck.
Yeah. No. He definitely get paid a lot of money at Manchester United. But once again, I hope we field the youngsters. Maybe give Pereira a shot. He's been excelling in the under-21s.
You guys should start Pogba.
Bring him back. We would love to bring him back and start him. I would love that. I would love both parties to reunite with their tails between their legs. Apologies all around, and we get Pogba back.
But Pogba's got no reason to go with his tails between his legs. His stock is soaring high.
Yeah.
That motherfucker's going to the World Cup. He just played for the under-20s, and now he's gonna be going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
We'd also have a preview from Mike Habs. He said 2-0 to AFC, Poldy, and Vermaelen.
Wow.
Not a bad shout. Vermaelen.
I thought the Podolski call was accurate. I think that he will score for Arsenal as well.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Hey, just in regards to that, Joseph, just about our striking options next season. I know we have mixed views of what we think is going to happen with someone like Joel Campbell, who seems like someone could certainly be useful in the squad.
He will be very useful to the bank account, and
to the bank account to sell him, huh?
He will never be in a shirt.
That's so sad. How do you feel about?
He doesn't want to go on loan again. He doesn't want to go on loan again, and he's not ready to play for us.
What the fuck do you mean? Have you seen him play lately? I mean, you don't think he'd be a contributor off the bench? I don't see why he couldn't be.
What is he gonna get? Like 35 minutes all year long?
No, the motherfucker scores some goals and then he plays. You know how this shit works?
No, I don't think so.
Shit works. He comes in and he scores. He deserves at least getting a fucking preseason. You know what I mean? Like
I hope he's gonna hope he has a good World Cup and he will be sold.
It's fucked up, man. What, we're gonna buy back Vela? How do you feel about that one? I know you've got.
Great. We lost Arshavin, so he must need another lazy motherfucker on the bench.
Are you just saying that because he's Mexican? You're a fucking.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like.
Yes.
Man,
That's exactly what I said.
you filthy bastard.
You go back, it's exactly what I said. No, it doesn't matter. I just called a Russian a lazy ass fucker. It doesn't matter.
So what about the? I mean, but all right, but would you? Some of these things just kind of smell too familiarly of arson. You look at the fact that like
Cheap? You mean because he's cheap?
right. I mean, the idea of getting a player of his caliber for 4 million, 4.5 million, something
You're
like
gonna have
that.
to pay him 80 a week.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to spend some fucking money, man. Like, what the fuck do you want? Like, honestly, like the money you save on like a player of his caliber should be going for about 15 million pounds, ballpark, at
Okay.
least.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at his goals,
12.
no, just talking about Vela.
Okay.
But I mean, this guy's got a bunch of goals in La Liga and a bunch of these double digits goals and assists. You know,
Yeah.
like that's worth some fucking money. So if he's worth 15 to let's just say 15 million, and you only pay 4 million for him, then fucking the rest of that 15 goes into his entire contract, and those are what his fucking wages are. I mean, that's
Why
still
would
a
you
better
just bring him
deal.
back though? I feel like you might need a player like that.
A lazy motherfucker?
I mean,
Will you stop talking shit about my Mexican brethren? All right, I'm gonna break out my
He
Vela
will
jerseys.
not. He will not close anybody down. He will not track back. I mean, it's not like we didn't
Have you
watch him play.
watched him? Have you watched him play in Spain this year?
I have only watched him once. And
Okay,
he was fine in Spain. He belongs in Spain.
that's probably true. That's probably true, but I don't know.
He's
It's just,
perfect for that league.
they're options that are worth considering. I feel like we need to have depth, and you look at all this stuff when we used to have a stable of strikers, and like you need to have 3 or 4 fucking strikers. So, like, I feel like if you signed one other striker and you brought back Joel Campbell and Vela, like you'd be sitting with a bunch of fucking options, and the one who doesn't work out, you get rid of.
Really pissed at both of those, but okay. One of those, okay. Both of those.
Okay, well, right. So one of them.
Riots
You
in the
still want
street
to bring
again.
in the other. Yeah, yeah. I can see that.
I'd say Joel Campbell then. I'd say bring him back.
I mean, like he still has a clean sheet with Arsenal. You know, he's never done anything to turn the fans against him. As
Right.
I
Joe's
still,
He's got a lot to prove, and I think somebody with a lot to prove is
I,
worth.
I think people are going to see Bill Campbell in the World Cup, and they're going to expect and they're going to be like, "Wow, this guy's Arsenal's player. Like, why don't they play him more?" And there's people gonna be clamoring for it because I expect he scores one of the goals. Like, oh, actually, you know, Joel Campbell has Arsenal DNA. I think I remember a great goal he scored. I think it was up at
Oh, where could that have been? Where?
Oh, it was at
could that have
Here,
been?
he already knows how to score at Old Trafford with a wonderful curler. If he scores, but look, right? If he scores one of those goals of the World Cup, I mean, people said it then. They're like, "Wow, this guy's good. Why doesn't he play for Arsenal?"
Right.
Because you score, like you see, it was a tough goal, great technique, the amount of swerve on the ball he put. Like he can provide top drawer finishes, and so
On the other hand,
Carson has never said one thing about him.
I know.
Not one thing
He
has
is
he ever said about him.
playing for England has never been a showcase for a lot of players. it's never been a great chance for them to show their skills. It's often been disappointing and just stale, to be honest, watching England play.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see what the fuck we're actually going to do in the summer, whether we actually make waves and do something big. We can only hope. I mean, I hate the fact that
As much as a pebble in a pond makes, that'd be the waves.
Man, fuck you, Joseph. Damn you and your negativity.
Such a
Bullshit.
Realism is not negativity.
Whatever.
Mark's team's going to be the one to splash the cash. They have to.
Yeah.
They probably will.
They're talking about 60 million, 70 million.
You're going to need 160 million. 60 million won't buy you 2 players.
That's a good point. But I think
You need an entire center.
You guys need a midfielder and a bunch of defenders.
you guys are talking a lot about Javi Martinez. I'm confident we're gonna get Strootman, and I'm confident that he's gonna be our man.
All right. Well,
So what do you do with Fellaini?
Fellaini, I don't know.
Wishing one had and shit in the other, and see which one fills up.
Is there a trash can anywhere in Old Trafford? Because
Where are you going to ban him to?
yeah, we're gonna relegate him to the reserves.
No, you're gonna send him on loan to Spurs.
16s or something like that, Strootman, I would like to bring him in. I would say Who knows, man? We're definitely selling Ashley Young and Nani. I'm praying to God that we do. Apparently, Van Gaal, if he's going to be our coach, there's a lot of ifs going on, but it really sounds like he's going to be our coach, our manager. If he comes in, he says he wants to keep Nani, and I guess for some reason they keep giving this guy chances. And you talk
5-year
about
contract.
Yeah.
Well, he's useless. Yeah, that's silly.
And but I mean, Van Gaal, he's got pull, man, and I think that one of the main reasons why we fired Moyes in the first place is because we lost about 75 million pounds not making the Champions League, and they were asking themselves if this team needs a reboot, are we going to put 160 million into the hands of an inept, manager like Moyes? And I think if we put that money into Van Gaal's hand with the reputation that he has, he could possibly bring in Tony Cruz and Kevin Strootman and
Maybe so.
Lucas
Maybe so.
Moura.
I mean,
like I was
it's
saying
certainly.
Lucas
Yeah,
Moura,
I mean,
we should really consider buying that guy. We wanted him before. Why not get him again? He's on offer. Clearly.
I mean, yeah, you guys are gonna need to splash the cash.
Yeah.
Without
You haven't mentioned your entire back line that you need.
PSG, well, we need defenders. We're going after Luke Shaw. Guaranteed we're going after him. He's going to be our number one target the moment the transfer window opens. We should definitely
He's going to end up at Chelsea.
Maybe even Mangala from Porto. I would love to see that guy come to Manchester United. But clearly we do well with a lot of European center backs. I mean, Vidic, Yapstam, all those guys. And I guess I would really just love to see us bring in a solid center midfielder as well as a center back, and I think Van Gaal has the short list that he envisions for the team, and it's very similar to what the fans and the administration see in Manchester United plays. So
fair enough. Yeah, and once again, Joseph, I know subjects you love talking about. You love talking about so much. People keep bringing up Cesc Fabregas, which over and over again, and it's like we won't dwell on this. It's just one of those things that if he becomes available, Wenger will buy him, right?
Yes, he will, but he's not available. But yes,
right. But if and when he does, he will. I think we can leave it there. Yes.
He would, yes, absolutely.
Oh no, we're gonna go after Fabregas again. We're definitely gonna spend a lot of time and resources going after Cesc Fabregas again. That's Manchester United.
David Moyes, what an idiot.
Well, I think Woodward has learned his lesson over last summer, probably.
No shit, huh?
Talking about being sold by agents, he got sold way too many times last summer.
He's a mark.
Herrera.
He's a fucking mark.
Fabregas. Who was the one that
Who cares? He's gone. He's a fucking mark.
Barcelona. The one that went to Bayern.
Alcantara.
Thiago Alcantara.
They got sold all those goods last year.
He did. He definitely did. Man.
Yeah, that was piss poor on his part, much to our delight.
And to pay more
to his
for
chagrin.
Fellaini than we did for RVP, that's just sad.
Yeah, well, go figure. We'll see if you guys bounce back. I expect you guys to be fighting for top 4 again next season.
I hope so. I really do.
I really. It's tough to say. Tell me honestly, do you think you will contend for the title next season?
It depends on our purchases. It really does.
No.
I wish I could say.
Okay. I'm saying right now, does your gut think? Like, do you think you will be? I'm not saying in the top 4, but I'm saying will you maintain a title push next season?
Yeah.
No.
I do.
No, they won't.
Okay. All right. Well, that way to be a homer. I respect it. I respect it. I know
No,
you don't
not
really
even
believe
close.
it. I'm looking at your face. You look down when you said that shit. For people that are gonna see this only hear this.
Yeah,
You couldn't even look straight into the camera when you said that shit. So he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, General, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. You can follow Mark on Twitter at Mark J MARCJC88, right? And then you can follow the artist formerly known as I Hate Your Club. Until then, keep it real, gentlemen, and enjoy the final week of the Premier League season. And we'll be back with a little wrap-up, little end-of-season awards and whatnot, and maybe a few fun lists for you.
Yeah, a farewell to Back as he goes
A farewell to Back.
Wear Blue.
maybe we'll come up with the 10 best pictures of his wife in white pants.
Oh, awesome!
Because that
I'm gonna be here for that one.
Oh man.
Yeah. Until then, we'll be ready to talk about the the FA Cup and getting some fucking silverware. So until then,
You guys
keep
think
it
you're
real,
gonna win
guys.
that? Are you sure? Are you sure you can pull it
Oh,
off?
we're winning. Oh, we're winning that shit. And for all of those of you out and about, make sure to get down to your local pub and whatnot. Joseph and I will be at the Fox and Hounds in Studio City for the final, getting down with the LA Gooners. So get out there and have some fun, guys, and we will chat next week. All right. Thanks, guys.